Hello, welcome to Congratulations No Seriously. This is a series where I cover sexy moves, plays, positional sexiness in World of Tanks, and I explain exactly what was going on behind it. So, let's get into it. So, here's a good example of me demonstrating my knowledge of spotting mechanics, specifically this.
Every tank in the game has 7 visibility checkpoints and 2 view range ports. The latter are needed to spot enemy vehicles.
In this situation, I've taken my fierce Waffenträger Panzer IV up to assist in the defense of the mine's hill. Now, with 3 Arty in play and no armor to speak of, I am unquestionably in a great deal of danger playing like this. And so, when the Centurion decides to take the hill, I hold my shot until the precise moment that his viewports, the gun and the cupola of his vehicle, are blocked by the wall. Given that the Cent 7-1 is a fairly long tank, I can still slam a shell into his rear. This decision allows me to remain unspotted, and it results in my still being able to use the position when I reload to get a shot into this batchat, before then having to fall back into cover. Aggro playing a naturally defensively oriented tank destroyer is fairly demanding in terms of skill level, and adding this little nugget to your bag of tricks might just help you adopt the playstyle my chair's attempting to murder me. Himmelsdorf. Castle walls, turreted cliffs, paved slabs, and close combat that heavy tanks embrace and Arty's lament. Me, of course, I just take my lightly armoured TD onto the hill, because while I don't have armour, I don't have health, what I do have is damage output potential and trading power. Now, the term trading in this context carries more nuance than it otherwise might. Trading in a heavy or medium is fairly generic. You trade hit points for damage in a fairly equal fashion, with an opponent mitigating that damage when you can. However, when I talk of trading in a lightly armoured TD or a light tank, for the most part, that involves far more trading of other people's HP. Because while you, as a TD, will likely have a better gun than those you're trading close quarters with, your lack of hit points, lack of damage mitigation ability, and potentially DBM work towards your loss in a straight-up fight. Therefore, this playstyle demands you utilise the help and support of those who are more equipped to take hits. When I'm able, I try to stay as second-line frontal support behind other vehicles. However, when the time comes, I have no quarrel with bearing a greater responsibility. It's almost always more logical, for example, to spread out damage taken over multiple tanks, allowing you to keep guns in the game. And there are times where indeed it becomes logical to trade 560 alpha against 390, as I do to this 430 many times throughout this engagement. The key factor, of course, that makes this appropriate is my ability to fall back behind solid cover, behind my team when I reload, so as to be trading 1-for-1, because trading 1-for-1 favours the higher alpha damage. Anyway, as the skirmish reaches a climax here, we're getting crouched upon by this T-34, and thanks to a merciful low roll, we survive. Now, the T-34 has atrocious DPM, the worst on any tier 8 non-autoloading heavy, I believe, so undoubtedly I could beat his reload, especially now that my adrenaline rush skill has activated, being that I'm below 10% hit points. But instead, I'm going to prioritise my damage into what I believe to be the more dangerous target, which is of course the 430, simply because I believe an Object 430 to be a more powerful, dangerous and flexible tank than the T-34, and by putting him on one shot, I believe I give my team a greater chance of winning. Now, I'll let the live version of me take it from here, because this game was quite fun. Lurva might well take down the 430. Come on, Lurva, you've got 1,000 health. Prove to me that not all Lurvas are terrible. This is going to be really difficult to win with the skill level that our team is presenting. 50 TP, you know there's 2 Arty in playing, right? having a long drawn out what? You're sideswiping like you're on IS-4 on steroids. Okay, that's a bit better, yeah. Okay, good work by this guy. 46%, and he did some sideswiping and connected it once he did it badly. Okay, come on, Lerva. Come on, Lerva. Did you just bounce off him? Please tell me you didn't. Okay, you just saw that ammo play. Lerva, you are in play against someone who's delaying you with 2 Arty in play. You are going to lose the health that you need to win this engagement. You've got to go in 3, 2, 1. No? Where's the Arty shot? There it is. You haven't quite lost the health, but go! You are going to be a one-shot soon. Okay, he's going. 50 TP's moving. Lerva has the big gun. Come on. Yes! Beautiful work! Come on, 50 TP. Oh! Oh, just keep poking him. Keep poking him. Come on, physics! Come on, physics! Yes! I mean, he's dead to Arty, potentially, if they're out wide, but feckin' yes! I'll just cut in here with a fun factoid. The Ihm Borsig, with its 15cm gun, has one of the largest disparities in penetration between standard and premium shells in the entire game. Its standard shell is 215mm of penetration, whereas its heat shell packs a whopping 334. That is a difference of 119mm or 19.8 electos. Don't get too excited though, because its shell travel time is truly tragic, and well, what?
Oh, I took 2 shots from the U, that's great.
What idiot suggested this gun? Ah, here we go, here's a perfect shot, I can't possibly miss. Ah, fuck. Now this is dangerous. These guys are both very much one-shots. Okay? Very much one-shots. What I want to do is see if they can group up and go together. But I doubt that's going to happen. Okay. Telling them not to go in one by one, because if one of them gets shut down, this swings in favour of the Arty. This is really interesting. Not one person left in this battle is above 50% wins. That is a very dangerous corner to take. God. Okay. Assuming the SU-14-2 is not out wide, but it was! I was thinking maybe this bush line is blocking view. Okay. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very sorry to have to tell you this, but it's all up to a Lerva. He is a one-shot for any of these Arty. Killing the M50 first does favour him, because the scum bus, the SU-14-2, is a lot slower and easier to manage for something like a Lerva. Now, the thing is, the Lerva has 400 meters of base view range. It's actually more than the 50 TP. He's going to have to shoot and then reverse. If he reverses out of this alley, he's potentially won, but he hasn't. He will spot the Arty.
And you fail.
Ah, shit. Well, with Arty finishing up that game, it segues us nicely into a new topic. Let's talk about Arty. But let's talk about them in a new light. Let's talk about Arty being useful. I've said many times that hit points are hit points, regardless of what vehicle they are on. Other attributes should be thought of in a similar light. View range, positional play, or as seen in this game, the ability to capture a base. Map awareness is damn near essential in water tanks, and while it might be understandable to lose track of the finer details during the heat of battle, artillery really have no excuse. If a flank has a disadvantage or is about to fall, the first to know about that should be the Arty. They have substantial advantages over the regular tanks in that regard. So first to know, first to act. Here I relocate straight across the entire map, the flank that my team had won, and I capped their base. Which proved helpful because apparently my team were busy at the time. Okay, hands in the air, who here can relate to having shit-flinging baboons as teammates? We got a couple? Okay, now take that hand, hit the like and subscribe button. I go so far as to say that Arty should be constantly, whenever possible, consciously trying to move towards the enemy base, between shots. By moving up a flank that your team is superior on or that they've won, not only does it mean you're in an unexpected location so enemy light tanks may miss you, it also gives you shots from unexpected angles and increases the likelihood that you'll be able to help your team by applying cap pressure. So here's an example I thought was really cool. This gentleman, Mr. Y, so serious, begins his game on Empire's border by forming a dynamic platoon with 2 T-69s. Lol. And while unfortunately one of them is killed in the enemy team's conquest of the southwest, the other has made a valiant pilgrimage over the north, and seriously attempts to follow in his footsteps. An interesting choice made to go high here. I myself might have gone straight through the middle, but I myself may well have been eviscerated by an enemy coming from here. Side note, turn your head to the side, this map looks like a ghost. Mouth, eye, eye. It's the ghost of poor map design, and it's fucking bleeding. Anyway, the enemy conclude on remaining allies like the penultimate chapter of a dramatic novel, and they are ploughing back in well enough time to reset the capture. So everyone raise a glass, a salute in respect, if you would, to this maneuver. The man literally sits in front of the T-69 who has all the cap points, takes all the shots, dies, and wins the game. Arty, like him or hate him, you gotta respect it. So remember, if it's charging a Progetto to give your back chat an opportunity to kill him, and randomly taking no damage, or shotgunning a corner-rounding Foch in the face, do remember, Arty can do more than you see them do. Now, there's a very characteristic maneuver that you will recognise if you played the game for long enough. It's basically the "oh shit, I buggered myself" move, where someone will come around the corner, utter some manner of expletive, and then reverse away back from whence it came. Right? You've probably done it yourself, and that experience can be very useful. As in this game, where I'm strolling along in my T-110E5, oh, high dense cam by the way, and the Super Conqueror pulls out in front. Now, I don't have a penning shot, but given that he's on a very exposed corner and has just been shot, I wait until he repairs and then blow his tracks off again. He is then violently murdered, and I gallivanted off into the sunset with pride in my heart, having dispatched an enemy British gentleman with nothing but my brain. Now, here's a clip about awareness. My awareness, specifically, if we're talking about the awareness of Wargaming's replay system, it forgot the team lists. Anyway, it's Redshire, South Spawn, so I gallivant off to win the game using the advantage given to the southern team by the retardedly unbalanced map design that I covered in this video. But I get into a bit of trouble. A T-100 LT rushing into close quarters, and I don't have enough shells to defend myself. Fortunately, what I do have is one hell of a gun line, and while I had intended to unleash them all on the heavy class, they can certainly hit this LT. So, in order to get him killed efficiently, I do something that I talked on in my Tips for TDs video. I take away his momentum, ramming into him, pushing him back towards my team, making him a far easier shot, which in the end results in his death and me surviving until the end of the game. plus 10 points for awareness. That is some nice brain work, but let's go bigger. Cosmic brain levels. Here on Mines, most of the map is there to suck the hill's metaphorical dick, and so even in a lightly armoured tank destroyer I can be reliably found attempting to contest such valuable land. And it's during my steadfast preventative quest that this clip becomes special. Our team has favoured a northeast advance, leaving the west somewhat poorly defended. And it's interesting to note me noticing that, as you can see me moving here from behind the bush to into it as the threat direction changes and my fear of fire and spotting from the side increases. Later I move up to try and take advantage of the vision provided, and my 7032 accompanies me. Now as he's poked out here, it's clear that he will be spotted in that position. I then surmise that the Type 61 on the west, who will have a clear shot, will utilise this position to take that shot. And I was right, but not in the way I anticipated. Here's a clip. No, he's chilling there. We could potentially pop out and get the kill, but I'm gonna... Okay, so that 703 will be spotted, which means this type is gonna poke right there. Or someone's gonna poke right there! Apparently it was an EBR. Who knew? Well, I mean, it was obvious someone was going to do it. I just thought it would be the type. Oops. What a shame. An EBR died. Guys, I'm so sad. We're gonna mourn. We're gonna mourn for the EBR. Oh no.
Meanwhile, in chat, everybody's cheering their face.
EBR dies, everyone's like, yay! From blind fire to blindness, the E25 is not called the cockroach for nothing. It's incredibly annoying, small, and it disappears for a while only to appear behind you in the shower. That's worth observing before we get into the meat of things, this sexy little crossfire defense at the middle that we set up while Ian assists the ice road. Nets us a nice G kill. But it's during an ill-fated assault of the base that we run into a bunch of warm, firm, uncovered tiddies. And while Ian escapes, TARDIS unfortunately dies, and I'm left in a sticky situation. I immediately dismiss and escape up the balcony. The stir mill would kill me on the ramp, nor can I escape down below, same problem. So the only logical choice is to disappear completely. Now at this point I imagine that the Emil is waiting it out to see if I try and take any of the aforementioned options. It takes a while, but eventually he drives morosely forward, lamenting his lost prey, and to the backdrop of Ian winning a quite miraculous fight against the T-43 in the background, I emerge from my damp bushy hole and fill his ass with my spunky German jizz. This results in quite a turnaround for the game, unquestionably contributing to the subsequent win and making me feel damn sexy in the process. GG. So that's it for today, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you kindly for watching. If you're interested in learning more about the game, I have a Learn Water Tanks playlist. If you're in the mood for some funny moments within Water Tanks, I have a playlist for that as well. See the links in the description for my Twitch page where I stream live on the weekends. And yeah, drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it. Stick around for more Water Tanks content. Other than that, have a wonderful day.